Hello. Hi. You had enough of Donkey Kong yet? Too bad. We'll play more Donkey Kong. This is Donkey Kong 3. Now, as what you may imagine is the third game in the incredible Donkey Kong arcade trifecta. And I don't know anything about Donkey Kong 3 really, except that it's a shmup. And you can tell that I don't really know much about it because I just completely ate it. But it looks like it's all about bees and apes. Oh gosh, and you gotta really pay attention to everything that's going on from the looks of it. You know, it's pretty self-explanatory. What am I doing? I'm going around spraying pesticide on everything and then getting destroyed by bugs. Look at that! He is intentionally being just a total jerk about it. Oh yeah, we can hold down our auto fire button here, really get some use out of that. Is it cheating? No. Why is it not cheating? Because you can get a lot of regular NES controllers that have turbo buttons. It's been a thing in the gaming world for a long, long time. Now, can you like... No, I thought that you could maybe just spray the hives directly. It's frantic, actually. There's a lot going to this. Okay, we're good. That's level 1. We've actually done it for the first time in our lives. Now watch this just be like the same level. Okay, no. This is already different. More hives, more caterpillars. And then, you know, I don't know if it's an absolute necessity to get Donkey Kong up there or not, but if it is, well, then I've already blocked it. But I don't... Ugh. Okay, so I think I'm seeing what you have to do. You do have to keep Donkey Kong from going all the way down. You don't necessarily have to bump him up all the way to the top. You just gotta prevent him from getting too much ground on you. And kind of did ourselves dirty there by allowing the caterpillars to get the high ground. When I say high ground, I mean they pretty much just completely blocked us. Blocked our path to Donkey Kong. Look at this power up. That's neat. Ah! You can also win a stage by getting them all the way back up, though. So, okay. It does appear to me that there are a couple of different ways to do this. So yeah, basically it's Space Invaders. Oh, we even get to keep it? Look at that. You get that power up, and man, level 2 just becomes an absolute joke. Now this power up can't last forever. That would be incredibly overpowered. Would just be a totally broken game if that were the case. Yeah, it's already gone. But hey, that we got some pretty good. Oh man, that was dangerous. We got some good juice out of that. Get the caterpillar out of here. Get the bugs out of here. It's actually action-packed, wouldn't you know it? Okay, we can save those once they get grabbed. I mean, ideally, you just want them to not get grabbed in the first place, but if they do, you can do something with it. The caterpillars appear to exist only to get in your way. Okay, I'm down with this, honestly. Maybe it's just because it's so different from Donkey Kong 1 and Junior. Also, may I note, we are definitely not Mario either. I don't know who this dude is, but he has no relation to Mario or his brother. Okay, that's fine, you know. Oh, that's not fine. We did get exploded by the spreader bug. This is what I'm choosing to call it, because it's a very basic-ass name. Get that turbo button in there, and then start defending. You gotta be very careful when you're shooting the big bugs, lest they split open and ruin your entire life. Okay, we're fine there. We're not fine there. Okay, they got away with it. They got away with it. They successfully stole one of my precious flowers? Are we defending flowers from Donkey Kong? Is that what is going on here? You can only jump directly up and down. This game does not make it possible to jump diagonally, so that does make this stage, you know, a fair bit difficult. Okay, I get you. Okay. Well, complete, you know. I don't think we have any lives left, but, we're getting this figured out. Oh, okay, we have another life now. Looks like every 50,000 points is that extra life threshold. This one would assume. Can we get him there? Can we get him up there? Nope, we got bugged. You gotta get him up to a certain amount so that he drops the... There we go. Drops this. There we go. You get him up to the top, it's your easiest way to win. Your quickest way out of the level. And obviously, judging from the time, you know, that always means more points. Perfect. 3,000. Oh, well, thank you. We still got the power-up, so, you know, just, yeah. Lay right into him. As far as I can see, getting the power-up is basically like getting a guaranteed win your next level. Like, it is potent. Yep, and then you can kind of gradually see it lose its color, which I think is a fantastic way of denoting that it's almost over. Actually, there's just some really nice feedback to that. Woo. So all in all, you know, this is obviously, I don't have to tell you, it's incredibly different from the other Donkey Kongs. Nope, couldn't save that one. Can't save them all, you know? Oh, no, I got sideswiped by the bug. We made it all the way to round 7, though. And, yeah, like all the other Donkey Kongs, clearly it's just kind of reusing level arrangements. But it doesn't feel quite as obvious being a shooter, you know? I mean, look at half of the other shoot-em-ups out there, you know? It's usually like, your backdrop is space, usually, and everything else comes in the way of how the enemies are shooting at you, the kind of patterns that the game gives you. Yep, there we go. We do it that way. I'm getting this. I'm understanding this. And you know what? I'm actually having fun with this, too. This is a pretty fun game. I'm not sure why it's taken me so long to actually play Donkey Kong 3. Presumably because it's the most forgotten one. I see 1 and Junior referenced far more often. And maybe it's just because of their sweet simplicity, especially Donkey Kong 1, you know? Donkey Kong 1, it's iconic. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows how to play it. There's nothing confusing about it. Can we get yet another... Yes! A 3rd level in a row of just instant success. I'm feeling it, Mr. Krabs. Look at that. The score just keeps going up. We're already nearly halfway to what we had before. And now things are going to get a little more tricky. Now I have to actually play the game as intended. I mean, I am playing it as intended, obviously. I'm not using a Game Genie here or anything like that. Shoot, I was hoping I could save that one, but no luck. Like, it's feeling like you have a couple different strats you can do. You can try to just focus on Donkey Kong entirely, or just, like, survive it out. Getting Donkey Kong will obviously get you more points based on time, but surviving it out until the end, you know, you get a lot of bonus points for doing other things there. Don't love that. Got the super spray or whatever we want to call it. Kim is a terrible environmental message, by the way. You know, too much pesticides is bad. Is real bad for the environment. Nice. Okay, so you don't have to necessarily free the plants directly from the bugs' clutches. As long as you beat the level while the plant is still on the screen, it will get dropped. Yeah. That's what it's about right there. We got 7,800 for time. That's nothing. And then You just instantly start blasting. If you get it perfectly, you can get 3 levels out of that. And I don't gotta tell you that that's obviously staggering in terms of pointage. I don't see a world where we don't beat our high score this run. I mean, you know, maybe in a world where I game over. Which is possible. One might even say likely. Ah, yeah. Fatal flaw, and I should already know not to do that. Don't shoot the big bugs and then try to strafe, because, you know, you'll just get wrecked. Ooh, that was just an overall bad scenario. So yeah, like I said, we could just game over and not beat the record, and that very clearly is what happened. It's a neat game though. It's I love the fact that it's got like 2 win conditions basically. You either get them up or you just survive altogether. That's really forward thinking for the time, I think. And yes, I just want to reiterate, the fact that it is so shmup-based and has all the enemy patterns and stuff, that does wonders when it comes to stretching out the longevity of the game as well. You can get away with only having a couple different level layouts when there's so much else going on around you. You could maybe argue the same thing about Donkey Kong 1 and Junior. You could say, well, in Junior, there's more alligator heads and stuff, and more birds. And I'm like, yeah, I guess that's true, but I don't know. It feels more natural in a shmup setting. And I do really like shmups. I am really not good at them at all. Don't get me wrong. But I've always found them very, very fun. We almost had that. I think I didn't commit, and that was the issue. But we do now have, you know, the golden pesticide ready. Ooh, look at that! Just fell. Oh no, I shouldn't have jumped. Okay, okay. Ruining it for myself here. That's fine. That's fine. Every failure in a video game is a lesson. Don't get angry that you have messed up. Just accept that you're gonna learn something from it. Probably. If you don't learn something from it, well, then... I don't know. That's where my wisdom ends. Yeah, give me to that 50,000 mark. Get me another life here. The most I've played of Donkey Kong 3, I believe WarioWare Mega Micro Games Inc., the first WarioWare for the DS, it had a Donkey Kong 3 micro game. And WarioWare is a fantastic game, by the way. I don't know why I don't have a physical copy of it, because it's an incredibly well done little game. Maybe someday we'll go through the entire Game Boy family. Who knows? Could be fun. We'd wade through a lot of trash, lots of Mary-Kate and Ashley games, but you know, maybe that's what you're into. Okay, very good, very good. And then they're taking the flower away. You don't even worry about it. You just focus on Donkey Kong. That's how you do it. That's a new top score right there. It's gorgeous. See, the game's getting wiser. The game is like, you don't need any more power-ups. However, it's bad news because the caterpillars got in the way, but the caterpillars are out of the way, and we're good. Oh, yeah. I'm feeling good about this game. I mean, it's a fun game, you know? Okay, it's not necessarily every 50,000. We're at 100,000, and we did not get an extra life, so we gotta keep that in mind. Maybe it's only when, like, that second digit is in the 5 slot. I don't know. Games can often have very, very odd criteria for what gives you an extra life. I'm thinking that's the best tactic, man. Just ignore the bugs, interact with them just enough so you don't die, and then just go straight for Donkey Kong, because look at this. However, this one, the stage is definitely the toughest, thanks to the, you know, Ah, that was dirty. Thanks to the fact that we got a slightly asymmetrical bottom here. We have to jump to the side and then up and then back to the side to get him. I want to get, yeah, gotta get this guy out of the picture as soon as possible. Ooh, I don't know what these bugs are. Oh, yes. Beautiful. It's a real good thing that the power-up increases your range as well. If it didn't, that would be a massively nerfed ordeal. But no, it pushes him well. Good rate of fire. Exceptional range. It's a 10 out of 10. Nope. No extra life on 150,000 either, so alright. I'm sure it's not entirely arbitrary. There's gotta be rules to it, right? Till then, you know, we're just gonna chase that top score as best as we can, you know, get it even higher. If we can get it to a point where we're never able to beat it again in this hour-long video, well then so be it. Okay. And we're good. Again, ignore the bugs. Do they have your plants? Who cares? Just get Donkey Kong up there in time and you're good to go. Rack up those perfects. Look at that. This level? Don't make me laugh. I mean, yeah, the caterpillar's getting in the way. It's a little old. They didn't even get in the way. We were able to thread that needle, get it right through them, and show Donkey Kong what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps. Again, what do we do with bugs? For the most part, we ignore them. However, we do have butterflies or moths or whatever showing up now, so that's a little concerning. Look at that, 200,000. Still no other extra lives, so you know it's apparently a little more stingy than I would have initially anticipated. Okay. We're gonna deal with the bugs just enough to make sure that they don't do away with us first. No! I wasn't paying enough attention to that left flank. I was so focused on what was directly ahead of me. Still 200,000. That's better than anything we ever accomplished in one of the previous Donkey Kong games. And I mean, I will tell you this much. This game feels considerably easier than the other Donkey Kong games. Thanks in no small part to this little sucker here. I'm gonna take a quick drink of water. Oh, this is very full, very heavy. Oh, it's ice cold. Oh. It's good, you know. These Minnesota summers, they get hot. Our winters are brutally cold, don't get me wrong, but 90+ degree weather in the summer months is not rare. We just don't have a very long summer, which a lot of the locals around here see as a merciful thing, but I like the heat. Don't take my saying it's hot as me complaining about it being hot. It's not at all the case. It's beautiful. Like, there appears to be a very specific route to success with this game. At least as long as these power-ups are spawning. I kind of noticed that towards the end of that last one there, they didn't entirely stop, but they definitely slowed down. Ooh, that was real close to being bad news. But it's fine. I think maybe the power-up only respawns when you die. So it's kind of like a, here, let's get you back in the game kind of thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So really, you could even strategically take some deaths if you so pleased. Okay, well, caterpillars have ruined everything. And we could have probably more strategically shot them. Yep. The bug. The bug got it. Wow. Okay, not our finest round 5 ever. But as long as you make it through without losing a life, you're fine. You know, we're not gonna get the bonus 3,000 points, which is a shame because that is a that is not an insignificant amount of pointage. Again, you ignore everyone else. There you go. Whew! Don't ignore them so much to where they just broadside you and kill you, though, because that's a little, that's counterproductive to what you're trying to achieve here. Assuming that you're trying to achieve a good score, which in a game that the gameplay loop is built entirely around the score, why wouldn't you be looking for that? Aha! We've caught on to their tricks, see? Tough. Tough, tough, tough. But we're gonna get that power up this time. You know, provided we can at least get him up to that space, which we should be able to do without too much issue. Yes. Good. Yeah, that's definitely the point of that power-up. Pulls you back into the game. Did they actually make off with one? Right, they made off with one and then we died, so that carries over. The plants do not reset when you die, which makes sense. I'm good with it. You never see someone, you know, chase the world record for Donkey Kong 3. No, that's a lie. I'm very sure that there's been a contested race of that somewhere through time. I'm sure Twin Galaxies is a very questionable world record up somewhere that you could go look up. We need a new authority on high scores. Make high scores relevant again, I say. Someone that's not so, you know, blatantly just kind of in it for themselves as Twin Galaxies. They're a little high off their own brand there. Been flying a little close to the sun. Did you see those jukes? I was pretty proud of that. Now, would I ever chase high scores in a game? Oh, more than likely not. I've said it before, I'll say it again, you know, I don't have the kind of level of patience to dedicate that much time into one game. Can you throw that needle again? No! Yeah, we're fine now, actually. They eventually left. I think this is actually my favorite of the 3 Donkey Kongs so far. I'm enjoying this much more than the other 2. I think 3, then Junior, then 1 for me. I know. Donkey Kong 1 is my least favorite of the bunch. Donkey Kong 1 Game Boy is a different story, you know. How many times can I bring up Donkey Kong for the Game Boy in this series? That's another reason, you know, we gotta do the Game Boy family sometime. It's practically begging for it. It's saying you gotta do it so that you eventually can show off Donkey Kong. It's also worth noting, and you've probably already noticed this if you pay strict attention to like release dates and whatnot. I am doing only the North American NES lineup as well. Not taking into account European titles, no Japanese Famicom titles. I mean, you know, Famicom is by name an entirely different system. But let's be real, it's the same. So yeah, North American titles only. Sorry, no asterisk here. Which is fine, because no one in the States even knows who asterisk is, so. I say the States as if I'm not from there myself. Yeah. We've spaced out the deaths for the power-ups much better. This is definitely going to be a high score this run, I'm thinking. That could also mean that I've just cursed it. But, we'll wait. We'll wait until tragedy strikes to be pessimistic. So, yes. If you're the kind of person who does pay attention to the controller tracker, you can see that instead of mashing X, I am just holding down Y. As I said, I am in fact using Turbo, which, as I've also said, is absolutely not cheating. There are a great many few NES controllers with Turbo capabilities, including the first-party NES Advantage controller. Don't even need to get third-party to get it. Look at that. Look at that tactical caterpillar placement. That's how you do that. That's how you handle that level. The points just keep going up. What can I say? Look at this. It's been nearly half an hour and I've been talking almost exclusively about the game. That's how you know there's a little more to this than your other Donkey Kongs. Of course, the super fans of the other Donkey Kongs are probably weeping right now saying, "Oh, how could you not have talked about this extremely obscure mechanic or this thing that you didn't know about?" I don't know. I don't know how deep the Donkey Kong rabbit hole actually gets. I'd love to see a 1-up at some point here. Not because I'm in danger, just because, you know, it's nice to have a little bit... Oh... It's nice to have a little bit of padding. Wasn't paying attention. Again, it's always the left flank that gets me. It's okay. Spray time. You botched it. Couldn't even get 250. Terrible. Now again, I'm pretty sure I know what game B is. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing, but slightly harder. But I'm gonna try it anyway, just on the off chance that it's not that. It is that. I can already tell. It's basically like, hey, want to start at round 10, but have it be round 1? Here you go. I don't know exactly what round this is the equivalent to, but you get where I'm going. But see, it makes us feel great because we have a fresh top score counter. So no matter what we do, we're setting a top score. Do other people like Donkey Kong 3? That just popped into my head. I mean, obviously people like it. People have played Donkey Kong 3. It was popular enough to, you know, exist in the first place, and then popular enough in the arcade to warrant the conversion to the NES. So clearly people enjoy it to a degree, but, like, how does it rank? I know it's not the most popular, but for people who have played all three, what do people think of Donkey Kong 3? It's a question that... Oh, terrible. It's a question that doesn't have to be answered, but it's good to ask all the theoreticals in the world. Ooh. Yeesh. Getting that dude on the angle, that's not gonna help you out. I think I just wasn't ignoring it enough, you know? Just gotta go back to plan A, you know? Nope, plan A didn't work actually. Okay, that's a lot of bugs. Quite a bit of bugs. Yeah, let's go back to game type A. I prefer, you know, a smoother difficulty curve. It eventually gets that hard in the end. Oh, shoot. Accidentally. No, yeah, this is game type B. It's okay, you just reset the emulation. May I say as well how blessed that we are to live in a world where not only can we play these older games, but we can emulate them like directly on our computers like this. It's honestly incredible. Like, you can emulate everything up to like the GameCube pretty much perfectly. And PS3 emulation is getting there too now. They're making big strides. They're making big strides in that. It's really amazing, especially for preservation. I've said it before, I love collecting. I mostly just buy physical games nowadays, and I buy a lot of them, especially retro games, but, you know, eventually the cartridges are gonna die. I'm gonna be a sad, sad man when that happens, but it's already happening to some of them. The connectors get corroded. Oh, I just noticed that we reset the emulator, so our top score is gone. Makes sense. Wow! I feel like we narrowly avoided a very, very terrible situation right there. Was by the skin of my teeth. But yeah, no, discs eventually go bad. Cartridges eventually go bad. It's all... It, like, legitimately hurts me to say that because I love them so much. But it'll happen at one point, and, hey, when it does, we are very, very fortunate to live in a world where people have developed accurate emulators that will capture these games forever. I think we take it for granted. And, of course, you know, for stuff like this, like, it's a pain capturing old footage from an NES. Plus, the fact that some of these games are just nigh unto impossible to get a hold of anyway. Eventually, we'll have to do an episode on like Little Samson, and if you're not emulating it, then congratulations, you're dropping like $2,000 into it. Some of those older games get real expensive too. That is, of course, kind of an extreme example. There are very few other like NES games that hit 4 digits. Plenty that hit 3 digits, though. The real slimy part is the people who try to like artificially increase the prices of older games because they want them to be more collectible, and it's like, bruh, nobody is gonna spend 50. Well, I shouldn't say nobody because somebody would, but nobody should be paying $50 for Super Mario World. I went to a local game store, and I don't think they were trying to do anything as insidious as, like, gradually influencing the market price, but everything was so highly upcharged. And to a degree, I get why it has to be that way for a brick-and-mortar store, because... My microphone stand is going nuts. Because you're competing with the internet, and competing with the internet is hard for everybody. But, I mean, it's a catch-22, because I went to that store, I looked at the prices of the games, and I thought, why would I buy anything here when I can get it for even cheaper through eBay? Some people say, oh, because the feeling of buying something in a store is more fun. I'm like, yeah, I agree. But being able to get a better bang for your buck, I think, is more fun. Like, I'd rather get more games than get them at a store, if that makes sense. My entire right arm is completely phased out, by the way. That's goofy. There we go. Get some of those caterpillars out of the picture. Oh, no, they're moving again already. Oh, it's terrible. Terrible. Atrocious. How dare you? What kind of absolute clownery is this? It's a good thing that the power-up completely obliterates the caterpillars. There's nothing left of them. Their souls have left the material world and have gone on to Valhalla. Or the closest thing that bugs have to Valhalla. Which any of y'all excited for Assassin's Creed Valhalla? I know a lot of people who give of the Assassin's Creed series a lot of ire. They say it's everything wrong with modern gaming, and I say, I don't know about that. I think Assassin's Creed games are exceptionally fun, actually, for what they do. And I can't think of any other games that have such a convincing portrayal of the time periods and land masses that they're on. Like, name another game set in Egypt that feels quite as Egyptian, for lack of a better term, as Assassin's Creed Origin. It's really one of a kind, actually. Everyone's like, oh, it plays like every other open world game. It's like, but does every other open world game feel like Assassin's Creed? You see what I'm saying here? Yeah, open world games nowadays are a dime a dozen. They're pretty much what, like, every game is expected to be now. If you don't have an open world, good luck. I mean, that's an exaggeration, obviously. You look at games like Uncharted 4, and clearly linear games still do well. But the open world is expected. But you can't just look at it and see it's open world and instantly say it's derivative because it's open world. No. an open world game can absolutely be derivative, and sure, maybe Assassin's Creed is like to a degree, but at the same time, it kind of wrote the book on the entire format. So is it really derivative if you're the #1 source of it in the first place? You know, it'd be like listening to a I'm trying to think of an example where the person in question isn't dead. Because I'm thinking about a lot of really old styles of music right now. It'd be like if band Venom put out a black metal album, like an actual black metal album, not like their kind of black and thrash style from back in the day, but a pure black metal album. People said, sounds like every other black metal album. It's like, yo, but they kind of like helped invent it. Like, oh no, the Stag Beetles, they're brutal, man. Like, if you've helped invent or define it, as far as I'm concerned, you've earned the right to be at least a little bit derivative. My personal preference. That's not to say that we shouldn't challenge the status quo, of course. I do think that, I'm always more impressed when a band does choose to challenge themselves. How did this get on the music? I was talking about video games. You know, they're comparable. They're both forms of consumable media that bring us pleasure with no other purpose. They're very comparable. But no. So yeah, you can just replace the word band with like a developer if you really want. Whether it's music or video games, as long as it's still quality, I think you can get away with being a little bit derivative. You can be kind of part of the same thing that has been around for a while, so long as you do it in a deeply appreciable way, in a way that is enjoyable to get through. Oh, God. I thought we were gonna get smoked by that bug coming down to us. He was evil-eyeing us big time. But no, look at this. This is definitely a higher score than we had last time. We didn't break 250 last time. We're at 290 now. There's never been a more exciting moment in my life. Ooh. And then we botched it. Couldn't quite hit 300k. But the fact that we're at least using all 6 digits of the score box is a positive thing for me, you know? Anyway, what I'm getting at is, I am looking forward to Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I probably won't get it directly at launch. I have this real weird thing where, if I have some games for one system, I have to get the rest of the games for that system, unless it's literally not an option. You look at a series like a Katamari Damacy, first 2 Katamaris came out for the PS2, third one came out for the PSP, fourth one came out for like the 360, and then the 5th one came out for the PS3. So yeah, there, you know, you gotta cut corners there, but otherwise, like, I own all the Assassin's Creed games on Xbox platforms, the 360 and the One. So when Valhalla comes out, I'm gonna pick up the Xbox Series X version. And the problem with that is, I plan on picking up a PS5 before I pick up an Xbox Series X, so it's gonna have to wait until I get the Series X. But I've got it all planned out. I won't have to wait that long. I have been budgeting this whole time. I want to say, I have not been so genuinely excited for a console launch in a long, long time. And I don't know why. I don't know why I wasn't this pumped about the last generation. Maybe because Microsoft's initial press conference was about as flaccid as they came. We didn't even get proper press conferences this year. I mean, look at the PS5 event. It was all streamed. But maybe that's what made it good. Maybe it was without all the extremely goofy nonsense that you'd see at your typical, like, E3 press conference or something like that. It felt more organic, actually. Which is funny because it was literally more, what's the word? I'm trying to find a not negative word to use. Fabricated. Manufactured, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah. The PS5 like event came out as like one of the most like manufactured things that there was, with it all being, you know, pre-recorded and live streamed and all of that. God, the caterpillars are not doing any good. Sometimes they get away immediately, sometimes you can't do anything. This is a bad level. No, I don't mean it's a poorly designed level. I mean I'm performing very poorly in this level. Look, look how close he was. We did not have to lose a life there. I mean, yeah, it does mean that we get the spray paint now, but you know, you want to always go as many levels without having to rely on it as you can, obviously. It's your get out of jail free card, but what if you're fine with being in jail for a little bit? You know, I've heard some people actively seek to go back to jail because they don't have any other knowledge of the world, which is tragic, by the way. It's actually a really, really sad fact. The fact that, you know, we even have a system that puts people in that, like, situation in the first place. It's just kind of, I mean, proving itself that the American prison system does not exist to rehabilitate, but oh boy, there we go. You had to find your controversial topic of the episode, didn't you? But you know what? That topic shouldn't be controversial. There shouldn't be people who are like, I disagree with that on this moral grounds because this is like, no, everybody should find that sad. Why wouldn't you? And then they'll say, oh, look at you trying to say what everybody should think. I'm like, look, if there's an ideal that will benefit the majority of society, then that ideal should be held dear and looked into further. That's what I believe. But then you'll say, but, dude, everybody has different ideas of what benefits like a society. And I say, yeah, and I like mine. Okay, I was worried that the quick strafe bug was going to eradicate us from existence, but that was not the case. I'm getting pretty decent consistency out of this game too. I mean, barring, you know, that very first run where I game overed nearly instantly. But, you know, I'm still getting my sea legs. There we go. I love it. It's a fun game. It is a fun game. Way more fun than Space Invaders. I know Space Invaders is a classic game, but, like, I don't care for it. I've never cared for it. Even, you know, in my young age, when pretty much every video game that I saw was the thing of absolute magic and wizardry, which I still feel that way sometimes, let's be real. I'm a total man-child when it comes to that. But even back then, Space Invaders was never really my thing. I hesitate to say it's awkward because that's kind of, you know, where the challenge of the game lies, is in that you have to actually aim and hit and be accurate. You can't just spam. You know, it was very much a prototype of a shmup. It was not your typical what you'd expect from a shoot 'em up in the modern day setting. But I don't know. It feels dated. You know, I've played so many shmups that are modern. Heck, not even like made in the past decade modern. I mean, like, newer than that. Newer than Space Invaders counts for me. Better go this way so that we're ready to collect that. Oh. See, that's what you hate. That's a death sentence in this game. When you die before even getting to collect your guaranteed welcome to the afterlife whipping cream. Or maybe it's squeeze cheese. Maybe we're like launching globs of squeeze cheese at him. I mean, it is orange. Squeeze cheese does come in like an aerosol can like that. Maybe we're onto something with this. Turns out Donkey Kong is viciously lactose intolerant, and he cannot stand the plumes of cheese getting near his self. That's the new lore. If you have a problem with it, you can write to Nintendo. It was their idea, not mine. We're hitting that 200K mark with relative ease. Which, I don't need to tell you, I feel great about, you know. Feels good being good at something every now and then. Every now and then I say as if I'm like, so terrible at everything. Those stags, they get me every time. They're not like the other bugs that just kind of shunt you. No. We'll play some more. We have to play some more. We gotta round out an hour. You know, may as well get the power up as soon as you can, because otherwise it just falls to the ground and it goes to waste. At least I'm pretty sure that if you don't pick it up, it probably just vanishes forever. It's so weird that you get an extra life at like 50,000 points and then like nothing else. But now that I'm playing this game, it would be far too easy if it offered you one every 50,000 points. Like, look at that, we're halfway there. On level 2. That would mean that, you know, you just kind of have a never-ending supply of power-ups that would keep giving you extra lives, so you can keep dying and keep getting more power-ups. Yeah, I see now why they didn't do it that way. I mean, you couldn't quite go infinite with it, but it'd be very close. Come on now. Again, you love to avoid the bugs, but not if it means that they're gonna kill you later on down the line. You gotta kind of predict the future a tiny bit. I'm more about ignoring the ones on the side. The ones to the far right and left, I'm not concerned about them. And there you go. And again, go as long as you can without dying. Don't rely on the power-ups. Embrace them when they come, but don't rely on them. After all, a true professional gets his points the hard way. Take another drink once I get to this next level. There we go. Always good to remain hydrated. You know, I'm probably not even drinking as much water as I should be drinking in these sessions, but you know, you came here for gameplay, not for sick water drinking content. I don't have any new water drinking strats that you guys need to know desperately. Although maybe I could... Feels bad, man. It's okay. This means now we get the squeeze cheese. No, we don't. Well, we still get it. We've just essentially wasted a bottle. Like, if you get a bottle and you die before you can get 3 levels beaten out of it, you've effectively wasted it. Good job. No one will ever trust you with the squeeze cheese again because you cannot utilize it responsibly. So you do not deserve to be graced by the cheese. You ever have a Twinkie wiener sandwich? I have. They're disgusting. Although, I guess I should explain what one is first in case you don't know. Although it is pretty self-evident. Twinkie wiener sandwich actually originates from the Weird Al movie, UHF. Great movie, absurd, ridiculous. But he eats a snack, the Twinkie wiener sandwich, which is a hot dog. Well, you take a Twinkie, you cut the Twinkie open, you put a hot dog in there. I don't necessarily know if it has to be like a grilled hot dog, but I mean, I think it can just be a cold hot dog. I think it's even better. I think it's even better cold, honestly, because it makes it even more nauseating and absurd. So yes, when I say better, I mean worse. But yeah, and then you drizzle squeezed cheese over the top of the hot dog and the Twinkie. And this is a step that when I had mine, I had failed to recall. The final step is you actually have to then dunk it in a pitcher of milk. Now, unfortunately, again, like I said, I had neglected this step. I think more out of ignorance than anything. Like, I had just forgotten that that was part of it. And so therefore, it was not a truly authentic Twinkie Wiener sandwich, which, you know, is sad. But I'm sure I'll make it out alive. I hate the caterpillars, by the way. They seem very inconsistent in how they block you and how long they block you. Why did I jump there? Look at that. He's wearing that thing as a hat. He is BMing us now. He knows exactly what he's done, and he knows exactly how upset we're gonna be about it. Alright, well, squeeze cheese, come to me. Oh, come on now. Come on now. And then, of course, when he stops to grab the coconut, you know, there's nothing you can do about that. He's retired for that duration. By retired, I mean he has iframes. You know, same thing. I'm giving you a thumbs up, but VCam is devouring my right arm. I'm noticing, it definitely has to do with the kind of shirt I'm wearing. Some of these shirts just, get completely eaten. Again, I'd love to get an actual green screen. An actual green screen someday, but, you know, cats, fabric, dangling, it's not a good thing. One day, I'll have a way to do it. Or, you know, maybe I'll just, you know, finish my basement so it's not a, patchwork mess that looks like a, foul hobbit lives in it. And I'm not saying hobbits are foul, but the hobbit that would live in this basement would be particularly foul. And make it very well known that that is more what I'm referring to here. Donkey Kong 3, sir. I would like a 1-up. I don't know what accent that was. It was, you know, kind of attempted to be British for a little bit, and then it just turned into Australian. They're the same. You know, what is Australia but a very violent UK? I'm sure the millions and millions of Australian fans this channel has are now outraged, and now how can you be outraged when that's, you know, it's like, that's a bottom of the barrel joke. When you're talking about Australia and you're making jokes about Australia, they're all like, what can we say? Prison colony, yeah, you're all violent, you're all criminals, ha, very funny, and you have cassowaries. Throw a shrimp on the Barbie, mate. It's like, gosh, ugh. That would get obnoxious. But you know, you look at all the jokes made about America, and I don't particularly care about them, so who knows, maybe Australians don't care at all about the shrimp on the Barbie prison colony jokes. Or maybe, because it's how humans are, multiple different people have different opinions on it. Which sounds wild, but it is possible. Alright, caterpillars. I've had about enough of your garbage. No, he's coming down! I gotta stop him, but the caterpillars! They won't let me stop him! No! When they form a barrier, they form a hell of a barrier, and you know, it was probably my fault for not spacing them out well enough, but, sue me. Oh, game demo showing us how to play. Not even showing us how to play, just saying, hey, this is the game. Game type B, it's mildly more difficult. You'd think that they would have, like, nerfed the upgrade or something, nerfed the power-up for a game type B, but no, it's true. These type Bs this early on are truly the laziest game additions that you could think of. Again, I would not be surprised if they just took the parameters of a later round in the game and said, just slap it on there. It'll be good enough. Get him beating those hives. Now that I pay attention to, you know, the animations and stuff, it feels a little weird now that I am literally blowing cheese directly into Donkey Kong's ass, you know? It's a whole new element to the game that I did not consider before, and I wish I would have never considered. Considering it has not brought me any peace in this world. Look at that, you just brought that right over me. It's like, if you insist, man. No, no, no. No, you know, no. Not gonna get one over on me like that. There's our extra life, perfect. If we can, like, run this run out to the end of the video, then I'll be pleased. I'll say, look at that, we're so good. We're so good that we don't even have time to finish this run. I don't know if that makes any sense or not. Yo, no! Okay, well. Nothing I can do about that. Except just accept that it happened. Yo, quit throwing coconuts! Yeah, dodged right into it. Okay, it's alright. Cheese time. It's like when Peter Parker says pizza time, you know? You just can't resist. Rest in peace to the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, by the way, for being completely overshadowed by the Marvel Cinematic Universe as the turning point for superhero movies. I mean, they weren't masterpieces, but they were pretty good, right? I mean, at least 1 and 2 were. I know 3 was kind of a total embarrassment, but Spider-Man 1 and 2, they felt like perfectly acceptable entertainment back in the day. Yes, Tobey Maguire was a bit of a subdued Peter Parker. I will not deny that for a moment. Those more familiar with the comic book Peter Parker, I believe, probably would have been a little more of a stickler for that. I used to read a lot of comic books, actually. I think anime just kind of absorbed the time I spent with comic books, though, because I would always read them before bed. It was great, because they'd put... This is going to sound bad. I'm going to tell you they put me to sleep, and I don't mean that because they're boring. I just mean because, you know, they were so, they took up so much of my brain while I was trying to read them that I just kind of got, like, overloaded every time. And I'm also not saying that to imply that comic books are, like, the most big brain hobby that you'll ever have either. No, no, no. Don't start just making stuff up. But, you get what I mean, though, you know? There's a lot of panels to keep up with, you gotta read. Reading in general has always made me sleepy. And again, not because I don't enjoy it, not because I'm trying to disrespect it, just because it's very easy to get lost in the middle of reading a paragraph. And yeah, there's not a lot of paragraphs that you're reading when you're reading a comic book. You know, it's more so like individual speech bubbles and all that. But I don't know. They have kind of a sleep-inducing effect on me. And I mean that in the most positive possible way, again. We'd love to get them up there before the time goes out. Get at least some... Do you actually lose a life if the time goes down? Was I wrong initially? Do you not survive the waves and instead you just completely lose a life? That's probably more what happens, I think. And I'm only reaching that conclusion now that we're nearly completely done with this episode. Better late than never, I guess. Okay, now watch this. We dodge. Oh. We don't dodge him. We actually get made a total fool because we timed our jump at the perfectly wrong time. Don't try to be a hero, man. We dodged that one entirely by luck. Like, I don't know how we survived that dude zooming across the screen, but we did. Oh, no, perfect. I cry. It's definitely better than the one other Game Type B attempt we did, though. It's very nice. Very nice. Look at that. That'll give us enough to squeeze out one more powered-up floor. Or round. I can only assume R means round here. Or maybe it means Roto-Rooter. It's possible. flushing all your troubles down the drain, you know? Alright, 135,000. Good enough. That's pretty much time. Actually, as of right now, that is exactly 1 hour, according to XSplit at least. So that's Donkey Kong 3. How do I feel about it? Well, I already told you. I think it's, I personally found it more enjoyable than 1 and 2. Maybe it's just my affinity for shoot-'em-up games, but it was a good time. It was a very good time. I was much better at it than 1 or Junior, so that may have had something to do with it. Yeah, owning a copy of that would be pretty fun, probably. Now, at this point, we of course ask what's next on the agenda. What do we got next on 60 Minutes to Lose? And you'd have to assume at this point, finally, we're done with Donkey Kong. No more Donkey Kong. That's 3 straight Donkey Kong games. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but unfortunately there is one more Donkey Kong game. And it's the absolute worst of the bunch. And I have been dreading this since I first looked at the docket. It's Donkey Kong Jr. Math. So join me next time as I fail to do basic first grade level division, and boy, I hope we can somehow make that episode something to enjoy, because that's going to be my biggest uphill battle yet. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the continuous support. If you are just watching on a whim and you enjoy what you see, please subscribe. You knew I had to say it at some point. Yo, drop a like, drop a subscribe, click the bell, blah, 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 blah. Support my Patreon, bro. I don't have a Patreon, but, you know, just enjoy the content if you do. If you don't enjoy the content, then watch something that you prefer more, because far be it from me to force you to watch something you don't like. Anyway, thank you as always. We'll see you next time.